Hey YouTube, welcome back to my channel. I hope you all have been enjoying my content, so let's get started. These potion ingredients will complement any Halloween decor. All you need is rock salt, food coloring, feathers, and some old and unique looking bottles. Our first two potion ingredients, we will put rock salt in 4 separate little cups, add food coloring of our choice. This will make our goblin gallstones and mermaid scales. Add just as much food coloring as desired. I used blue, green, and rose pink for my mermaid scales. I added blue and green together to get a blackish dark green look for the goblin gallstones. And here I am putting the gallstones in their bottle and putting Mod Podge on its label and putting it on the bottle. I've got my labels off of Pinterest. They were free from a site called the Navage Patch. You ought to check them out. They've got some pretty cool things on there. When the Mod Podge gets done drying, I'm going to take some jute string and wrap it around my bottle. I'm going to make a loop and then start wrapping around that loop so I can put the end of the string through that loop and pull and give it a nice clean finish. Then just cut the ends off. I had a Tree of Life charm that I just glued to the front of my bottle on the jute. Then I took some of that Viridian green and that burnt sienna and I just dabbed it around that wicker ball, and I didn't cover it all. And I also took some Spanish moss, stuffed it down in the top of the bottle, let some of it hang out, popped my wicker ball on there, and that was our top. And distressed the label, and I was finished with my goblin gallstones. Now this is our mermaid scales, and this bottle just so happened to be from a hummingbird feeder, where I had used the other parts of the hummingbird feeder for another project, so I thought this would make a pretty nice potion bottle or ingredient bottle. Okay, and before I add my colored rock salt to our bottle, I add the matching glitter to its color and stir them up really well, because mermaids need glitter. You know, you just have to have glitter with mermaids. So now we take and make a funnel and we pour our rock salt, our glitter rock salt, in the bottle. And you can make your mermaid rocks whatever color you want them to be, your mermaid scales rather. I just chose green, pink, and blue. You can choose blue, purple, and green, or whatever you like. It's your mermaid scales. And look how pretty they are in there. Now I'm going to take just some costume jewelry and wrap a pretty little necklace around the bottle, like I got it off the mermaid, of course. And I don't have any footage of me making the top, which is this shell right here. I just took 2 of the same shells and glued them back to back, and then glued them on top of that green shell, and then glued that to the bottle, and that was our top. And I took some black ribbon and wrapped it around the top as well to give it a finished look. Okay, so our next potion ingredient is the griffin feather, however you want to pronounce it. I do know that it is a legendary creature, body and tail and back legs of a lion, and the head and wings of an eagle, and sometimes an eagle's talons as its front feet. And so, since this is a creature, a mythical, legendary creature, it's lots of colors, as you can see. So, I had some feathers in a bag, and I just grabbed the prettiest feathers I had in there, the smallest ones, and started pushing them down in my Dollar Tree jar, and corked it, and Mod Podged my label on, and there you go. I also took some jute, wrapped it around the top of the bottle like I did the goblin gallstones with the loop, and also had a feather on my jute for a little feather charm on the front of there. As you can see, you might be able to see it right there. And then I took some black ribbon and wrapped it around the bottle under the handle and put a little bow on there, and I thought it was cute and it looked really nice. And I think these potion ingredients turned out really, really well, and I hope you guys enjoyed them and like them just as much as I do, because I think they add so much to my creepy corner and my shelf. And here they are on my creepy corner, on my creepy shelf, and I think they look fabulous. I just love it. You'll see my creepy shelf on and off in my videos until Halloween's over, and maybe after, because I'm always adding to it and taking from it and rearranging it and trying to make everything look just as cool as I can. And I hope you all enjoy it just as much as I do. Thanks. DIY 2 has a sad story behind it, very creepy as well. I got this a long time ago from the Dollar Tree, and I got some Dollar Tree skeleton garland and used 2 of the skeletons, and I also got a 2-pack of butterflies from the Crafter's Corner in my Dollar Tree. I took some gray pewter paint and painted this base with it, and I printed off of Pinterest a free print of a skeleton book page, skeleton fairy drawn on a book page, and I'm going to Mod Podge it in that. And I'm also take some crimson red and distress these skeletons, make them look a little dirty and older, and get some black chalk paint and put some dots in their eyes and make them look a little bit better. Now here I'm going to glue the butterflies to the back of each skeleton, and I'm also going to take that crimson red or burnt sienna, one of the 2, and I'm going to paint the back of the wings because they're not two-sided, and then I'm going to distress the wings on the outer side of them, and that is that burnt sienna is what that is. And after I do that, I'm going to take and Mod Podge our skeleton fairy book page in our shadow box and let that dry as well. So this is pretty creepy itself, but I'm going to take some Spanish moss and glue it to the bottom of the shadow box. And that little apple and pumpkin I've had those forever, and they are glass little scatters, decorations that my granny got me a long time ago, and I just treasure them so much, and I use them every year. And I just wanted to glue them in the shadow box just to give it a little something. And now I'm going to glue our skeleton dude in the shadow box. He got caught looking at the picture in the box, so I took and made some pins. Got some metallic silver and painted some toothpicks and hot glued some pearls onto the ends of them, and I made my own faux not safety pins, but push pins, and he's going to be pinned to the board so he can never leave and just die there. And that's why my girls think it's pretty sad, because his girlfriend I'm going to catch and put in a jar. And she's going to be in a ball mason jar. So I took a real needle and I had to make a hole in the wing so I could get the toothpick in there. And I got the toothpick in there and added a little glue and got it standing up how I wanted to. And I just put the other toothpicks or faux toothpick needles in the ribs. And as you can see, here he is pinned to the board. And the other skeleton fairy I put in a ball mason jar. And I threw some moss in there, some Spanish moss, and another little apple and pumpkin. And here she is on her knees with her hands on the jar. And I think she's just shocked that her poor boyfriend is pinned to a shuttle box forever. And it's just a sad little story and a creepy one as well. But I love how these turned out. And I got them on my spooky shelf in my spooky corner, and I hope you guys like them and think they're just as creepy too. So this has to be one of my favorite all-time DIYs. Okay, this is what I used. The Dollar Tree cup with the skull hand, no shot glass I had. That's a nautical float ball. And then one of these Dollar Tree pumpkins. I'm going to take the light out of it. And at the end, you'll see I changed my mind. But right now, I'm going to take this black chalk paint and paint my shot glass with it. Oh, and that skull hand pops off really easy if you watch what you're doing. And my crystal ball fits perfectly, as you can see. So now I'm just painting it black, like I said, and I put about 2 or 3 coats on there and let it dry pretty well. And then I took my skull hand and I have some folk art sheepskin chalk paint. That's what I painted my hand with. And I also used some burnt umber to distress it, along with a little bit of pewter gray and some burnt sienna. And I just kind of went back and forth with the colors and fading them all together and going over each of them, you know, until I thought it looked good. And then I'm going to take the hand and get some E6000 and glue it to the bottom, which would be the top now of our base. And I'm going to let that dry overnight before I finish. Okay, you just want to take that E6000 and just put it around the edge, because that's where it's going to stick to the bottom of our skull hand. Okay, so I'm going to take 2 of these skeletons off of the Dollar Tree skeleton garland, and I'm going to take some crimson and I'm going to paint it all over the skulls, or the skeletons rather, excuse me, can't talk today. And I'm just going to paint it on there and wipe it off with that towel, as you saw, and just make them old and dirty looking to me, what I think a skeleton should look like, you know. Take some chalk paint and I'm going to dot the eyes real well and the nose and get the teeth dirty, and then wipe some of that off and get them ready to attach to our base. And here I got some black ribbon that I'm just wrapping around underneath the hand to give it kind of a finished look. Okay, you'll see where I changed my mind, didn't use the pumpkin light. I got this out of another project, and I just twisted the little lights together, which was two, and taped them down at the bottom of our base. And then I just taped the battery pack close to the bottom of the base where you could just pick it up and flip the switch and turn it off and on when you wanted to have your crystal ball glowing. And that's just cool as hell, I think. Then I took some bling ribbon, some pretty blue bling ribbon, and I glued it around the top under the hand, and then I glued it around the bottom of the base. Okay, now we're going to take our skeletons and we're going to tie one on one side and one on the other with some jute rope. And we're going to also tie some around their legs as well, so they cannot go anywhere. And here it is, our fabulous crystal ball on its beautiful base. And I think this turned out great. I absolutely love it. I love how the crystal ball shines. I love how I can turn it off and on. And it was simple and it was easy and really only cost me like $3 because everything else was like a trash to treasure type of deal. So I hope you guys enjoy it. And like I said, it's going on my creepy shelf in my creepy corner. And like I said, you'll see that a lot. And I hope you guys really enjoyed my video. And thanks for watching, YouTube. And see you later.